Hi, David here again. Going to go over 1.3's practice problems from the LearnZillion site. And so what I want to point out is just some key words to pay attention to. This is an arithmetic. It's spelled arithmetic, yes, but it's arithmetic. Kind of like snoqualmie instead of snoqualmie. Okay. And now you want to then look for the adding or subtracting of terms and then figure out the next ones. Since we know this is arithmetic, and even though there's only two terms, that means it must have added or subtracted to get from term to term. And I think you can see between the -2 and the 4, if you're on a number line, you've moved across +6. So then if I was to continually add 6, the next one would be 10, and etc., etc. If you ever have trouble trying to figure out what is being added, you could work backwards. You could just subtract. For instance, if I took 111 and I subtracted off the previous term, the answer would be 100. So it must have added 100. So if I was to add 100 here, the first one would be 100 more than 111 would be 211, and then I think you might see 311, etc. Again, if you can't see the jump, just again subtract. Looks like the jump is a positive one there, but this jump right here in D, this jump looks to be going backwards, making it smaller. So if I'm at a number line and I go back to -4, I think I've subtracted 9, 5 to get to 0 and 4 more. So then if I have a rate of change of -9, then the next one would be from -4, 9 more. I think that takes me all the way to -13. You want to put the negative symbol in there. Yep. Let's take a look at the next problem. This one is clicking and dragging and just putting things into where they belong. Is it arithmetic or geometric or neither? Quick review, I'll look at sequence B here. Let's say I guessed it's arithmetic. That means it must add consistently. So from 2 to 4 is +2. Did it go +2 again? No, it didn't. Maybe it's geometric. Geometric would mean that it has a multiplier. 2 times 2 is 4. So to get from 2 to 4 with a growth factor, it'd be times 2. So times 2, the next one should be 8. Uh-oh, this one is not arithmetic and not geometric. It must be neither. And that's how you'll solve those problems. Here we're going to get flexible with our thinking because we might ask for the next one or the previous one. So arithmetic sequence, again, we're told these are arithmetic, so we're looking for a rate of change that is adding or subtracting. If it's adding, just by the way, do not put a plus sign in these things. Just put in whatever the rate of change number is. If it's positive, you leave it without the positive sign. So it looks like this one is climbing by 1. Climbing by 1, you want to fill in the next answers. Okay, so climbing by 1 would take me to 0. And I'm on a number line. I don't know about you guys. I'm not just thinking of numbers. I'm on a number line. I'm bouncing on a number line. I'm moving around like a video game. And again, don't put +1. Just put 1. Just put the rate of change as 1. That does imply adding 1. If you can see the rate of change and move forward, you might be able to just simply subtract and move backwards. So keep that in mind. Okay? And again, if you have trouble seeing the rate of change, don't be afraid to subtract. Don't be afraid of subtracting. For instance, in C, I got a 1 and then a 0.25. So I'm thinking it dropped by 75 cents. I kind of think of it as money sometimes. So I'm thinking a -75 or a -0.75 in that idea. And then I would just try to verify it along the way and make sure it's working right. One more set of problems here. Maybe a couple more here. Let's see. The sequence starts with terms 1 and, the sequence starts with the terms 1 and 10. Okay, if this is arithmetic, that means it added, and you're going to keep adding. If it is geometric, that means you multiplied, and you're going to keep multiplying. If it doesn't follow an add and it doesn't follow a straight multiply, make up something that it follows and see if you can give me a neither. Okay. The next one is now the same idea that we did before, but we're now using geometric sequences. And we're looking for the multiplier, the growth factor. Okay, so again, you could look at two consecutive terms. And as you might remember, we can divide to see how it multiplied to get there. For instance, 25 divided by 5 is 5. And just thinking of that, 5 times 5 took me to 25. So if I was to multiply again, it would be 5 times 25, or 125. The growth factor is 5. How do I get the previous term? Well, if multiplication is going forward, I'm hoping you can think clever with division. Again, with the growth factors, don't say times 5 or divide by something. Say times a fraction, or don't say times, excuse me. Say the growth factor is a fraction, or a maybe a decimal. For instance, here, 10 gets to 5 in a geometric series by multiplying by a half. I'm not sure if it'll accept 1/2, but if I see you put 1/2 in and it doesn't give you credit, I'll give you credit. You also could put 0.5 or even 0.5 and it should work. Cool? Moving on. Let's see. The first term of a sequence is 4. Choose a growth factor. Oh, you get to kind of choose one. So you're just going to tell me that the growth factor's, I don't know, times 2. Or again, don't use times. You're going to say GF is 2. Growth factor is 2. And then you want to list the next terms. 8. 2 times 4 is 8. 16 and 32, etc. So you get to make up your own one. Kind of cool. And then lastly, you have to, here's a rule that can be used to build a sequence of numbers. Once starting at a number you choose. So you're going to try to follow some rules here. Starting with 0, build a sequence of 5 numbers. Each number, here's the rule, each number is 2 times 3 less than the previous. That's 2x and then 3 less, minus 3. 2x minus 3. Let's see, 2 times 3 less than the previous. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. No. You got to translate that better. 2 times 3 less than the previous. Do you know what 3 less than the previous is? It's in parentheses. I do believe that's going to be in parentheses. So I think the phrase we're trying to think of is that, I'm going to just type it up right here so you can see it, I think, that we're saying 2 parentheses x minus 3, in the sense that we have to do 3 less than the previous number, x being the previous number here, and then double it. I believe that's the way they're phrasing it. Hopefully that'll help you get through those problems. I'm David. I hope this has helped.